welcome to this special show. I'm Rajeev Masand and today we're coming to you from Mumbai's Mithibai College. Our guest today is one of Bollywood's most loved actresses. But that description does not do her enough justice. She's been a role model for young women for over 20 years. She's charted her own course and has made her own rules. Most importantly, she's put India on the map over and over again. Please put your hands together for the one, the only, Aishwarya Rai Bachchan.
Back to school.
Back to school, I have to ask you,
Sitting
here in a classroom in front of students, does it kind of take you back a little bit in time, as you walked into the college, as you...
It was yesterday. What are you talking about back in time?
Yes, does it bring back a flood of memories?
Flood? I mean, I told you, it's familiar. It's us on a daily basis. Students for life, guys. I mean, believe you me, I don't know what they're telling you out here. Yeah. But this remains with you for the rest of your life. This attitude for sure.
True.
The pace and the rate of life for sure. From here on till the end. You're just chugging down that street, believe you me.
Now, it was in college itself that you started modeling and then you eventually went on to become an actor, but you went to Jain College, you studied architecture.
Yeah, my college stories are quite hysterical. I've been to so many colleges and that's for good reasons. Don't get it wrong. It's not because I had any trouble, believe you me. It had all to do with all the attendance stories. Sorry, I've got to snitch on all of that to the authorities. Because being a science student, science students here? In science students? Guys, you all know now how it rolls? So 11th grade and all that, you want to know that you don't want to be on that blacklist, right? You've got to be able to do your prelims for HSC. So you're finding out which college is not going to be strict with 80% attendance. And I was on borderline Ruparel and happily to walk into Jai Hind and KC. So I was kind of doing the odds. So KC for about a month. Then I hear Jai Hind is suddenly relaxed the rule. So I take all my certificates and go and meet, bless his soul, Shiv Dasani. And I go and tell him, I said, listen, this is where I deserve to be, okay? I need to really get into this college. This is where I should have been to begin with and all of that spiel. And I walked right into Jai Hind, blissed out, completed the 11th, and then I hear he brings up that rule again, 12th, 80% attendance. I'm like, no way. I'm going to be running around doing my classes. I cannot be attending regularly because it's not because you want to bunk, because that's the need of the hour.
Sure.
Science students will agree. So the only year we talk about like, you can't attend college, you got to do the classes, only come for practicals and all of that. So then I go to Ruparel. So eventually and then the HSC happens. Now again, I'm on the borderline list to get into the med schools in Bombay and call it presumption. That's where I wanted to go and not go outside of the city. So in the meanwhile, I do a month at Xavier's with life sciences. And then in the meanwhile, I gave architecture exams only in 2 colleges, that's JJ and Rachna. I get into Rachna and JJ, go to do the interview only at Rachna. Thank God they accepted me because I didn't go to the JJ interview. And this is my story. So eventually when I come into movies, I meet a whole lot of people who say, you were in my college. And it's embarrassing because I've been to so many colleges.
What was the final count?
I've been everywhere.
What was the final count?
I don't know, I didn't do the maths. So I mean, yeah. So if you ever hear I've been in all these colleges, I have. It's true.
And for good reasons.
But these are my reasons for it. That's my student story.
I think everyone in this class will agree that you've really charted your own course, haven't you? I mean, you broke the rules. You decided to make your debut with a Tamil film. I mean, right after that, you'd established yourself there. Then you did a Hindi film. And then just when it looked like, okay, now she's going to conquer Bollywood, and that's the area she's moving, again, you did Kandu Konda. And, I mean, you've kind of constantly surprised us. You've confused everyone. What does the girl want?
I've always been very clear about that I want to chart my own course and not tread the path of taken.
Yeah.
Because that was easy and kind of laid out to begin with. And also if I had taken that path, the predictable was coming my way as well, which kind of didn't leave my coattails for a while. And I kind of recognized very early that that would go with the turf of what I did, probably even from student life. I had a great sense of humor. So even when I was doing architecture and a bit of the modeling, and once in a while if the professor in class would say, so, next week it's the modeling. Ma'am, not that modeling. This one, I'd be like, yeah, right. Yeah. I'm going to be on that first class list and you're going to see it. Right. And the funniest thing happened. After the first year, when I was on the first class list, one of the guys in class had the, how are you on that list? I was like, how rude. I mean, excuse me. Why? So when you talk about the predictable, you just kind of assume, okay, maybe with this there are no brains.
Right.
Or with this there'll be only the, you know, you'd only go and do glamorous stuff. So break away. I mean, you come from modeling and from the title. So yes, I had the, and I did get to work with the filmmakers that I wanted to, albeit not in their predictable genre very often.
True.
That's timing, and so you win some, you lose some. I mean, I have also lost out on amazing films and projects down the years, in the sense amazing as in what the results turned out to be, that lived with the audience, that y'all will know, you know, that turn out to be the blockbusters. But then when you're making choices, then my attitude has been schoolish. Once I've committed, then I stick with that schedule. If an opportunity comes my way, I'll not kick this to the curb and take that, because that just seems that much more fetching. So that's been a large sense of what drives my decision.
Ash, I'm going to ask you what I think is going to be a tough question. What's the film that you find that most people talk to you about or want to talk to you about? What's the one that they invariably bring up? You travel so much. You travel to Cannes, you travel across the world, you travel all over the country. What's the one that they constantly bring up?
It's not one. It's interestingly varied. Largely, there has been a lot of talk of Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam and Devdas broadly. And then obviously, because I hardly did the genre dhoom to believe you me or not. So in that space, when people are talking about, Jodha, but they're talking about the bigger movies and the ones that had that kind of commercial appeal, or the things that you feel can last the test of time, references to all of Mani's work, whether it's Iruvar, whether it's Guru, whether it's Ravanan more, because obviously people tended to get that, and Choker Bali and Raincoat, and Provoked. It's wherever you, so that is very satisfying. There will be references to these made. Interestingly, even Josh.
We're going to play a game, Ash. So we're going to find out how well do we know Aishwarya's films. I have questions for Aishwarya, slightly tougher ones, and I have questions for all of you.
Now this could be fun or embarrassing, so guys, it's up to you, yeah?
No, so I'm going to ask the first question to the students. In which year was Aishwarya crowned Miss World, and where was the pageant held that year?
Ooh, coming to a college with that question. Thanks for reminding me, this wasn't yesterday.
Take a shot, which year?
94.
That is correct. Where was it held?
Sun City.
Sun City, South Africa. Ash, now to you. What question was asked to Aishwarya in the final round of the Miss World competition, the year that she won the crown?
What are the qualities that you look for in a Miss World?
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
That is
Don't
true.
ask me the answer. They'll probably get very creative.
I'll tell you, it was compassion. Okay, a question to you guys. Name Aishwarya's first film.
Iruvar?
That is correct. Ash, which was the first Hindi film that you made a special appearance in?
Oh man. Mela.
That's right. Mela is correct.
I did that actually also because Amir and me had done a commercial, had done a Pepsi commercial. Later on we did co-commercials. We did our first world tours. I did my first world tour with him as a group of us, actors. And I remember after the world tour, we had all become really, really close. And he said that, you know, there's this movie, just one shot at the end. But it's not with me.
It's on a
It's
swing.
with my brother. No, he said it's not with me. It's with my brother, Faisal. And the quiet rebel that I am, I was like, then I'm most definitely going to do it.
Okay, to you guys. Which was the first film in which Aishwarya worked with Abhishek Bachchan, who would subsequently go on to become her husband?
Guru.
Who was that? Well done. Very well done. Dhai Akshar Prem Ke it is.
That film was a riot. Oh my God, Abhishek and me have hammed through that movie. We keep saying, what are we doing here? I mean, some of the scenes were like so way out. And today, I mean, forget today, down the years also when we look at it, we used to be like, really.
Did you know it while you were doing it?
Yeah, a bit, because that's a brief. I mean,
Right.
my character's brief. Now you can watch it as one of those party things, if you do, as a comedy, because my brief was the thought first occurs to you and then you say the line. So I've got to do, mat jaiye. So I'm like, what's with the twitch? That's the brief. You've got to give the twitch and then say the line each time. So it's like, everything is like out there. It's like, Q. So the has to happen in Q. You're like, that's the brief? Okay. And I remember Abhishek and me till date we joke. There's this one bit before some storm breaks out in the Jeep. And he said, ye kudrat ka kya, something, something. And our eyebrows and eyes, and we were like cracking up. We were like, what are we doing? It's so way out there. It's so way out.
Ash to you. In Guru, Abhishek and Aishwarya's characters, Gurukant Desai and Sujata, become parents to twin girls. What do they name them?
Drishti and Disha.
Well done. That I didn't expect her to get. Very well done. Okay, we're going to take a very short break on this special show. When we come back, we've got a surprise for Aishwarya.
Oh, really?
Maybe even two. So don't go away. We're here with Aishwarya Rai and the students of Mithibai College. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back to this special show. We are here, of course, with the one, the only Aishwarya Rai Bachchan at Mithibai College. Now, Aishwarya, your next film, your latest film actually, is Sarabjit. As we know from watching the trailers, as we know from having read the papers, this is, of course, based on the true story of Sarabjit Singh, an Indian national who was convicted of terrorism and of being a spy in Pakistani courts.
Yeah.
Suspected, that's right. His family and Indian authorities, of course, insisted that he was a farmer who strayed into a Pakistani village accidentally, but he in fact lost his life in a Pakistani prison when he was attacked in prison. We know that Sarabjit's sister, Dalbir Kaur, along with Indian authorities, fought very hard to prove his innocence.
Yeah.
What was it about this film that spoke to you?
Umang is somebody I've known forever in the business. I think everybody in the business knows him. And because he's done most of the sets of everything we've ever been on.
Right.
So we've known him down the years, and at the very beginning with Ram Madhwani, so that's why we laughed recently,
Right.
Umang had stepped in a commercial with me. So we have laughed recently, like how Ram's movie has just done so well,
Yeah.
and Umang and me are right now making a movie together. So there's strange reasons for timing. And Umang came to me with Sarabjit, and the moment he mentioned the title first, actually in my head something already went click, and I said, and the reason for that being, when there was a petition going around to get obviously support, to rally support, about maybe 7 or 10 years ago, 10 years ago, it was before marriage, I had only heard my father-in-law's name at the time as a reference, saying, "Unhone bhi sign kiya hai." So I read up then more because of our mad pace of work. Sometimes you're abreast with the news, but not completely, like not in detail. So I obviously read up on his case and willingly signed on the petition. So the moment Umang mentioned the name, I was like, okay, 1 minute. This is someone whose life or our lives had crossed paths at some point in time. And unfortunately, he's not in this world anymore. And here someone's talking about possibly telling his story. So I was curious. And Umang then went on to give me the idea. He was on his way to IFA actually. And he went on to give me the idea, briefly, not the whole narration. And he largely obviously told me that this is going to be from Dalbirji's perspective. Because obviously everything about Sarabjit first person is not documented. It is by reference of what obviously she has shared with the world, with him, and what she experienced has been documented by the media. So there are all those media calls that you can reference. And the human story, I mean, it was just, I believe the story needs to be told because if the facts from the family's perspective be that he was just an innocent farmer who incidentally crossed over, and when you go to that area, which we did when we were filming, and you realize that in that area there was no barbed wire at the time through the fields. So there wasn't a way for a person, say possibly if he was drunk that night in the farm, in the fields with his buddies, he would have not known he's crossed over, which is possibly what happened that night. And it's scary. I mean, overnight, the life of a family is overturned. And the sheer grit, determination, conviction, passion, love, call it what you want, that this lady has within her. She fought relentlessly for 23 years. I can't even imagine going, God forbid, from one day to the next in the given scenario. And she has gone for it. Think about a lady in the village. Kitni baar we have so many challenges, and you think, jaye isme pade, kaun jayega? Not for your family member, but when you know you might have to knock on so many doors and you wonder, will it get fruition? Will you be heard? But she has not stopped. She kept the faith and she tried. And to keep the faith for 18 years, after which she meets her brother for the first time. She manages to go to Pakistan and meet her brother. And even in that phase, you're constantly being told कि इतने दिन में फांसी है क्या तो, and her pressure is कि हम रुकवा सकते हैं तो रुकवाएं. You wonder whether you can even get it done. But you did, and it has worked a couple of times. It did work for her. A couple of times it didn't because of the politics of the goings on. I mean, there could be a war here, there could be a terrorist attack there could be a nuclear testing there, and things fall back. And sometimes when you do get an appointment with the higher up authorities, I mean, when you are wanting, when you hear, theek hai, hum dekh lenge, your heart breaks and you immediately judge. But maybe also, and I'm not being diplomatic here, I'm saying maybe sometimes on the other side, there are so many national issues which at that time need importance that is kept a bit in the back burner. But from the family member's perspective, this is a national issue. This is your person from your country who needs immediate attention. This case needs attention. This is a country of billions, I mean millions, billions, and people, everybody wants to be prioritized, and that frustration, that pain, there is truth to both sides, but you're getting to see this side of the story. You're getting to see the pain and the struggle and the passion of this sibling to try and do everything that she can to make the impossible possible.
Now, I told you there is a surprise, or maybe two, before you leave. Sagar Rana, who's a student of this college, has a little surprise. He's a great artist, and he's done something that he's hoping he can present to you. Sagar, come.
Oh, thank you. Ta-da! He's shaking!
Aishwarya, finally, as is tradition at CNN News 18, we always end with a little bit of song and dance. So we've got 4 students who are big fans, who've got a little performance to put on.
Oh, wow.
From Sarabjit. Let's have it. Come.